You've also been pretty public recently about an entirely different emotional subject, this idea of when athletes or entertainers sort of make it and then the people around them aren't necessarily always as happy for them. There's a lot of "you've changed."
You know, I've always kind of had a problem with people saying that you've changed over the years. And I would hope that you have changed for the better. And I felt like I was changing for the better. And my problem was, I would always say back to them, well, you are the one with the issue because you have not changed and you're still in the same position you were 4 or 5 years ago. And and it happens in our society a lot. And we will rather see, in the black community, we will rather see people stay at the same bottomless level that they are than to see someone grow apart. If it makes sense. We would rather stay together and both struggle than one of us making it and us being happy for that person that made it.
And this is a big enough issue for you that you're actually producing a television series in part about it called Survivor's Remorse.
I just want to thank my family. Everything is in play when you become famous.
We fell from the Titanic and landed in a lifeboat. I feel guilty.
It's a fictional story, but it's based in a lot of these true-to-life conflicts that athletes have.
Right. Obviously, not for kids. Let me put that out here. Look, I'm gonna look right into the camera. Kids, this is not suitable for kids. Parents, please put your kids to bed before the Survivor's Remorse come on television. But it shows the athletes and people in general that become successful have to deal with it every single day, from their family to people that think they're their family. We all have that cousin that you've never seen before that all of a sudden comes out when you become successful. Hey, you remember me? You know, your mom used to talk, you know, my brother back in the day. Nah, don't worry about it. You don't remember, but listen here, let me hold something.
Yeah.
I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Royce White sees just about everything through the prism of mental health, but he's no longer out there all by himself. Now the NBA and its players are speaking about mental health issues too. This year, Kevin Love came out and said he had a panic attack during a game, and that the Cavaliers helped him find a therapist. And DeMar DeRozan revealed he struggled with depression and said he was happy to be a sacrificial lamb for the mental health cause. Love and DeRozan, both all-stars, were praised for opening up about their inner struggles.
Let me read you something you said.
Okay.
They aren't pioneers on this, but they're trying to take credit for it. Where were they 5 years ago when I was speaking out? DeRozan had the audacity to call himself a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
You're not a sacrificial lamb. I was.
Right.
Those are your words.
Yeah. DeMar DeRozan saying sacrificial lamb is just, it's categorically wrong, for sure.
Because?
Well, because he wasn't.
You were seen as a head case.
Right.
They're seen as brave and honest. What do you make of that?
There's a significant difference between what we said. I mean, and this is no disrespect to them, they're writing a diary entry. I challenged policy, and I rightly challenged it.
What I've noticed about mental health generally is if someone really has an issue, it's not, you know, they're going to have that issue whether they play ball or not. That might be a good outlet. It may be a good way for them to organize their, but if we're talking about mental health, I don't know that, you know, that playing ball might be like a piece of an answer for them. But if you have those kind of problems, whether you play ball or not, you're going to have those kind of problems. I do think that, like anything else, when you have a purpose in your life, you know, when something makes you want to get out of bed in the morning, that goes for everybody, from any circumstance. If you can find that thing, that's what you focus on, of course.
I think a problem is that a lot of people dehumanize athletes, you know, whether it's fans or the sports media, because we sit here all the time and we'll argue about the merits of their performance or something like that. Or, you know, like take fantasy football, for instance. Somebody goes down, what's the first thing they're thinking? Not about their health, but who their backup is. Andrew Luck gets booed off the field when he's retiring. You know, LeBron gets criticized for being in the layup line with his kids, and I think that's what people forget.
My name is Natasha Carter. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I am a mental health therapist for athletes. Man, that's such a tricky thing because I got a couple players that have dealt with it, you know, have tried committing suicide, have overcome it, have given back. I mean, it's deep. It goes beyond, you know, sports. It goes back to your upbringing. It goes back to what we're being taught in schools. It goes back to parents reaffirming what these kids are reading in school, you know. I think that goes back to setting up foundations and people being more aware of the struggles we have, not just as athletes, but as, you know, Black people.
My exclusive interview with Dwayne Wade. 1 week ago, his first cousin, Nikia Aldridge, a young mother, was killed in crossfire on the streets of Chicago. It has been the deadliest month in Chicago in 2 decades. And Wade, who is returning to the Bulls for the fall, spoke about how that community can come together and his family's personal tragedy. And let me just start out by expressing our condolences for your loss. I think it's so hard for people to believe your cousin, Nikia Aldridge, walking down the street, pushing her baby in a stroller, signing up for her kids for school, and she gets shot. It must have been shocking.
I'm licensed to provide individual therapy, group and family therapy for the team or for the individuals. I also provide workshops on effective coping skills for teams and athletes, as well as coaches on how to better support their players with emotional or social needs.
Everybody goes through what they go through. You know, when I lost my dad, you know, I went through a rough time for a couple of years, and you know, we all go through everything, especially at the top. Like, people think that, you know, you're in the NBA, you're making a lot of money, everybody knows you, you know, you got fame, you got access to all this stuff. Like, those be the people who go through the most, because, you know, you have some people have a whole family depending on them. They paying this bill, they paying that bill. So they going out there, they playing for, you know, their mother, they playing for their kids, they playing for, you know, whatsoever. I think a lot of players go through the mental health just because there's so much expectation, you know, especially now. You know, I heard Kobe say, you know, back in the day when you played well or you didn't play well, you had to wait to wake up in the morning and watch SportsCenter or read the paper, you know, to see how people felt that you played. Now it's like, as soon as the game over, your whole Instagram, your whole Twitter is telling you how great you are, telling you how bad you are. So it can go both ways. So
yeah, I think that people see us as like superheroes, and like we deal with family things too.
Everybody thinks because you make X certain amount of money that, you know, life is easy, and that's not the case. You get more problems, more issues, you know, relationships. They're not the same anymore. So, you know, I've been fortunate enough to not let anything really bother me or get to me mentally. And I'm fortunate enough, again, to have my parents that when I do have a problem, I go to them and I talk to them and I get stuff off my chest. That's important, man. A lot of people like to keep things bottled in, but I'm a firm believer of having that one person and then getting off your chest. Like.
So I think it's important, period, because there's a big, huge stigma on mental health. And so it's definitely overlooked and not looked at or not discussed. I think that people forget that athletes are definitely still humans, and so their issues or their struggles are not, they don't have the luxury of doing it behind closed doors or dealing with it in private. Everything is out in front or on the social media or on media, and so I think that it's important for them to be able to have effective coping skills or just mental conditioning on how to prepare for those stressors that they might endure, getting into a professional organization or even retiring from one.
I think my family is the most important. It helps me. I mean, I'm normal just like everybody else. Like you said, just because you got a lot of money doesn't mean like you don't go through real life problems. And I mean, I'm normal. I'm human. I have real life problems like everybody else, but I think I have my family really supports me and is my backbone. So like when things get tough, I turn to them. When things are great, I turn to them. And I think we just keep it even keeled at all times. Not saying like I don't go through anything, but my family's my backbone that helps me through anything that I possibly could go through.
Your family's so devastated by all this, and on that weekend alone in the city of Chicago, 10 more people killed, 57 shot.
Yeah.
I mean, the town you're going back to is having a hard time.
You know, we're coming off doing the town hall meeting.
It was right there from
right with ESPN just the night before.
Literally the night before. It's important for all of us to help each other, to go back and say, you know what, where did this start at? How did this start? And let's see how we can change there. We're using our voice, we're using our platform to try to shed some light on the city of Chicago. And then hours later, you know, one of my family members is killed. For me, it was tough. I want my family to grieve in private as much as possible, right?
It's on a smaller scale, but anytime you're a public figure in any way, shape, or form, you're going to get some of that. Like, I'll log on, and somebody, first thing I'll see in the morning is, you suck, you know, like, and you have to realize where that's coming from that person, or not let that affect you. But when you multiply that exponentially, like some of these guys are dealing with, it's difficult. And I think it's a product of the times, you know, the 24/7 news cycle and social media.
So for professional athletes, the common things that I hear about are anxiety, depression, and then pressure. So a lot of the anxiety comes from pressure. A lot of the depression comes from being away from family, or not playing, or even the impact of getting ready to retire. So what we talk about is definitely coping skills. A lot of individuals, period, don't know what coping skills are, and so they don't know how to develop or implement them. So we talk about that. We talk about effective and healthy ones, as opposed to some of the ones that they're using, which may be maybe smoking, it may be avoidance, it may be anger, and so kind of being able to talk about how to counter those negative coping skills. And then we talk about self-care, and then a lot of it is individual therapy or motivational interviewing, and just kind of giving them different perspectives on the situation that they're dealing with.
People with money, people that are wealthy, that have money, they have the most problems I've seen. They just don't have money problems, if that makes sense.
But right, and as athletes and entertainers, we have this platform that we can use to bring awareness to stuff like that, right? And that comes with, once again, setting up foundations. Give your boy a job and have him run the mental, you know, health awareness stuff. So I'm proud. I got like 2 players, man, that's doing big stuff in that area and really trying to give back to youth, and that's their platform. But it definitely exists. You know, it exists, but it's something that it's more so we got to change the culture. We got to change the narrative, you know, the whole education form, so to speak, right? And we may not be able to do it through our current school system, but as parents, we can be more involved in our kids' education.
Yo, this is a PSA for all you bitch niggas. Peter Clark, Spoon, Al, all you niggas, David Clark, Rod Swain, Lou Tucker, all you niggas who been hating and shit, talking sideways, any one of you niggas pull up right now. And come talk that talk now. Peter Clark, all y'all niggas, stop telling niggas this is your establishment, niggas. This ain't your shit, bitch niggas. It's mine, nigga.
You know, when Zoe passed during the finals, like, I was fucked up. But, you know, I had, you know, a lot of my brothers to keep his name high. It was good to see all the pictures and Instagram, stuff like that, but I want to keep, you know, his name alive, and that's what we're going to do. I got to go see the whole band last week, so, you know, rest in peace, Zoe.
Well, Steve Francis, he was just really a great guy to coach because he just loved to play. So the coaching part of it on the floor was very easy. His parents had both died by the time he was 16, both of his parents were dead. He grew up close to Maryland at Tacoma Park.
I think that if it's a balance. It's a balance. If you focus just on one thing so hard, and you're just focused on one thing, you got to have some type of leisure. You got to have some space that your body and your mind can relax and think of other things. And for me, that's been something I've learned over the last 10 years, just how to relax my mind and my body, just so I can be better for myself.
You know, when I have problems, I just, you know, take my problems, take my licks, and, you know, continue on what I'm doing. You know, so that's where I'm at with that. You know, we all have problems, but what don't break us make us.
But yeah, of course it's difficult. I mean, back in the day when guys were playing, what they got? The criticism they got was what the newspaper columnist wrote a day or two later. Now everybody's got an opinion on you, and everybody's got an opinion on you all the time.
So Kevin, you are now the new face of mental health in the NBA. How does that feel?
At first, it was a little scary. I think from you know, suffering with anxiety and depression for a long time into having my first panic attack on November 5th and not really knowing what that meant to fast forwarding being here now, it's changed my frame of mind, and I really do believe in writing my piece that everybody is going through something. So knowing that it doesn't discriminate and knowing that I'm trying to change the stigma not only for, you know, people in sports but all over. And I remember talking to my agent and he said, "Are you sure you want to do this? Because a lot of people are going to talk about it." I said, "Jeff, I don't know if anybody will, but, you know, just understand I'm trying to help people." He goes, "I get it. If you help one person, if you help one kid, it could be absolutely life-changing and groundbreaking for that kid."
You know, I have about, you know, 5 or 6 guys that, you know, I really have that relationship with that, you know, me being older, you know, than those guys, you know, I'm able to give them advice or give them a little bit of wisdom. And not that they always take my advice and use it, but they listen to me. So that's where the respect factor, you know, comes in.
But it definitely stems, I think, for a lot of people from before they were in a professional organization. So it comes from when they were younger, and then that behavior or that habit just continued to go with them.
It's hard for me to keep my composure. To everybody that I know and that supports me, I'm sorry, but it's just it. The dog has to bite back. That's it. Y'all won. Y'all beat me down, degraded me, said I would do everything in the world. I'm a womanizer, a drug addict, everything.
Fam.
You know what I'm saying?
Fam, listen.
I probably couldn't even get hired by Home Depot right now.
Fam.
Because of how people look at me.
Fam.
It's over. If it happens again, I will air everything out. Okay. I know what they doing to brothers. I know what y'all doing to the rappers. I know you want them beefing. I know you want them arguing. Y'all don't do Leo like that. You don't do Brad like that.
Playing is such a tough thing, especially at that level, because there's so many guys who want to do it, and there's so many good players that once that adulation and all those things stop, it's very hard to substitute that in your life. And you know, a guy like Steve Francis, he was never rejected in his life in terms of a basketball player. I mean, he was just automatically, he was going to be a very good player on a team, whatever the level. And so when that happens for the first time where no team wants you, I think there is a depression. And plus you set high standards for yourself, and when you feel as a player that you can't reach those standards, I think that can really mess you up for a while.
I kind of think basketball is a safe haven for everybody and my peers too, and it kind of is for me too, to get away from the issues you have off the court. I kind of see it within my teammates and guys on other teams that, like, you know, when we get to the court, it's just, you know, this is what we do. We block everything else out, and you know, it's our own therapy. It's something we do. It's something we're great at, and it's something we do to get away from, you know, off the court issues, and you know, we kind of just let loose on the court. So when you see players play with a type of emotion, or you know, it's getting too, you know, they're getting too into it, you just got to appreciate that, man. It's, we're letting a lot of stuff out.
But they might be having issues, or 3 different people done called them in one day for 5 to 10 grand a piece. You know, being that person that if they say no, then you changed, or you're not there for me, or this, that, and the third, or this, that, and the third. So, you know, they deal with, people with money deal with a lot of issues and a lot of problems. And it builds up, and that's what it leads to mental health issues. And you have to be strong to be able to deal with that. But you also have to be strong to identify it. If you're unable to identify that you have mental health issues, how are you going to be able to work on it?
And the culture of sports for so long was like masculine. Like everything about it is, you know, look, if you pass, you're weak, right? Like you're weak if you don't take the last shot. And that's sort of an analogy to, or an analogous to that mentality.
I'm Larry Sanders, and I played 6 years in the NBA. But even when I played at the top of my game, I struggled with anxiety and depression. 1 out of 5 people deal with mental issues each year, but 2/3 aren't getting the treatment. Stigmas can keep people from getting that help, but there's nothing to be ashamed of. Treatment works, and recovery is possible. Maybe you know someone who needs help, or maybe you need someone to talk to. You are not alone. and help is available.
We got bad days. Some go through it with our family. Family members sick or betray you, or you into it with your wife, your chick. Whatever the situation is, mental health. But some people don't care about that. They just want you to perform and be that superhero. And the minute that you don't sign an autograph or take a picture, then you out of pocket. People turn on you. But you just maybe had a bad day. You had a headache. You rushing. You got somewhere to be, and you ain't got time.
Can you hear him crying?
You can't get your voice back. Take some Vaseline and swallow it. And it'll help you.
Survivor's remorse. It depends on who the people is.
I had a teacher, my first grade teacher told me, and this sounds crazy, my first grade teacher told me I'd be nothing but another nigga. I didn't even know what the word nigga meant when I was 5 years old. You know what I mean? Like, and as I got older, I subconsciously started to believe that when I understood what people thought about niggers. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, I do have like survivor's remorse about certain things, but the thing is that I try to use like my platform and my presence to try to inspire others. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know it's tough, man. Yeah, and I'm the type of person that wants to help everybody, but it's just the belly of the beast. You're not gonna be able to help out everybody. Some guys took the wrong path. You've seen it manifest. Guys taking the wrong path or not doing what they're supposed to do. My dad, I was fortunate enough where my dad and my mother was always keeping me on that straight and narrow, always making sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And, I was fortunate enough to get where I was, where a lot of guys past veered off, and that's sad to see.
That's an amazing question, man, because a lot of people ask me how I do it. And then I think like brothers like me and then the brothers straight from where we come from, we're not quote unquote therapy people. But I think everybody might need therapy. A lot of times my therapy is my music and what we work and what we do. So it's like what we need more is, I think, therapy. Because I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. I won't take the medicine because I learned and I looked up what the medicine does, and the guys from Iraq and stuff like that, that's what they give the guys coming back from the service takes. You know what I mean? So it's like dealing with that and dealing with death, like, because my brother was murdered, my sister had a heart attack, and my oldest brother had an overdose of heroin. So it's like firsthand you see that, and how you cope with that, not waking up every day, not being able to talk to my siblings is crazy.
Do you think the NBA should step in here and do something?
I absolutely think the NBA should step in here, but you got to understand, like, look what happened with the NFL last year with domestic violence and child abuse and all those things. I love how we use the platform, but it's not their responsibility to make men. It's not their number one responsibility. Let me correct myself. Yeah. It's not their number one responsibility, and I know in society we try to place that on our leagues, but when we have guys coming in, I think it turns into a responsibility to give them the help that they need. Yeah. Now, there's no doubt in my mind that the NBA knew there was something going on there. Yeah. Now, I don't know exactly what they did to help him, but now I know what we know is he's walking the streets, and that shouldn't be. That's one of our brothers, it's a fraternity. Yeah. But it's not just our professional leagues, it's also our corporations, our government. We need to do a better job of identifying mental health issues and supporting our people. But what happens now if you tell someone, hey man, I'm suffering, they fire you. Or they don't want to work with you. And that's not real.
Mental health, that's real. That's a real thing going on right now. You hear all the stories, you see people like start to speak out in the NBA, Kevin Love, on the road, a lot of guys start to talk about it, and it can affect you, like you said. I just feel like you gotta try to have the best support system around you. If you need help, don't be afraid to go get help. But there's so many issues that come with, support system, and if your support system ain't working, go get, help, like whatever you need, because, life too short to be out here, stressing every day and being sad. Like, you gotta try to live as best as possible. Right? Not every day gonna be good, but you gotta try to set yourself up, whereas you try to have as many good days as possible, because you never know when this thing gonna end.
I wasn't really looking at it as like, well, how am I feeling right now? I feel like killing myself. I'm right around about it. It wasn't like that. I was just thinking like, damn, I remember when I used to be stressed out in the same fucking room, you know what I'm saying? And like, it was to the point where I was like, I want to kill myself. I was just like, damn, my baby mom's stressing me. My mom's stressing me, you know what I'm saying? Niggas ain't fuck with me, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got no money, I'm broke. The Av is hot and they can't get no money. A nigga just be like, yo, fuck, if I was dead, I wouldn't have to worry about nothing. I could just lay up, either I'd be in heaven or hell. I'd just be laying the fuck up, just chilling. I wouldn't have to worry about no problems. That's what I was on. I wasn't on no killing myself shit. I was just saying if I was dead, I'd be a lot better off. And sometimes I still be feeling like that. See, all these fucking motherfuckers want to stress a nigga out over some bullshit, some rap shit. It's supposed to be fun.